Hey everybody, I just wanted to put this video on here for those of you who may not know me. I've gotten, just this week, I've gotten a lot of emails or text messages, comments on Facebook, just different things, or through my website, wanting to know more about who I am and what I do. Questions from friends, people that know me personally. Cows are saying hello. Yeah, so I wanted to put this on here to, I put this together, explaining a little bit more about what it is and what exactly I do. I am an intuitive channel, intuitive medium. This, I probably always have been, I know I have, but it didn't come about until really like full force until about 5 years ago. I am able to contact and intuitively get information or talk to or have a conversation with beings from, other places, from extra dimensional beings or, interdimensional beings or, ETs, if you want to call them that, celestial beings. Other beings from not from our realm, basically. So I'm able to tap into that, and I can find out information. They share information. They're benevolent. They're loving, and I've had this gift since I was a child. So just to back up to my childhood, I was born and raised in the South, a very traditional family. I'm a 70s kid. So technology and, just information about this kind of stuff was not readily available. Very traditional family, church every Sunday, great childhood, great family, still have a great family, of course. But we were that, mom stayed at home, dad went to work. We were real involved in the community, sports and church. And yeah, it was good. It was good. But like I said, knowledge and information and this being a thing was not something that was typical or normal for, or average for my family and my friends' family. It just wasn't something we did. Growing up in the South, we're very traditional, very indoctrinated, very deeply rooted belief system, beliefs and traditions, which is great and is a wonderful thing for what it is, and wonderful way to grow up. And I know now that I chose that path to be born into my family and into, this place geographically, so that I could get that knowledge and know what that is. Know what it is to come from that background so that I can help people here that come from that background and know how to help them and meet them where they are in that place, right? So when I was a kid, I was able to see like auras and energies and other beings. I was extremely gifted as a young child. And I would say about maybe age 7 to 10, it started to kind of back off a little bit. My gifts started to kind of go dormant, and they were conditioned down, I guess you would say. But as a little bitty young kid, 2, 3, 4, I was able to see the auric field of all living things. I could see the colors, not just the energy field, but the colors that went with it, and I could see that. And I thought that everybody could. I didn't know that it wasn't a thing, right? And I was also in touch with, and I could talk to and had conversations with and visits with other beings as well. The one being that was my friend that I talked to a lot, and he would come and have conversations with me, and I would tell my mom about what we talked about and about stories they told me or whatever. But it was my friend Gabriel, and I remember him vividly, and I know now that is, he's the Gabriel that we all know. I think my mother, when I was little, she just kind of chalked it up to a big imagination, and she, thought that maybe I heard his name at church or something like that. But I would tell her about my friend, the angel, Gabriel, and he does not look like anything that that we see like in our artwork or text or religious text or whatever. Nothing like that. And now today he's reintroduced himself to me. I am in contact with him again. But even as a kid, he had this glow about him. He was golden. He had a golden, translucent glow about him. And cows are hungry. But yeah, and so like his energy field would flow around him. And I think that's where people who do have these experiences, I think that's where they get the wing thing. And because it kind of does look like wings. I mean, his auric field would flow and kind of dance around. So I think that's where the wing thing comes from. So, but he was gorgeous, and he still is. Golden light being really is how I would describe him. Beautiful energy, very benevolent. I just love him. He was my friend. That's what I knew him as a child. But golden, kind of shiny, translucent, just gorgeous. Human features, but just with this golden glow around him, he was just gorgeous, very loving, very just, and he felt to me like I had known him for a long time. So I had my friend Gabriel as a kid. I would also, like I said, I'd see auras around everything. I also would tell my mother about a different time and place, and with extreme detail about another family and how I did so and so, or my children so and so, or this and that and the other about another time and another place. And I mean, like I said, she just chalked it up to imagination, and she actually wrote a lot of this down, my stories that I would tell her, and wrote it down because she thought it was very creative and whatever. So but yeah, so I would tell her about all the different things that I would do. I was the first person. I would talk to her in first person about my husband or my children or whatever. And it was pretty amazing. So I understand now that was previous lifetimes or timelines. Past lives, basically. And I've always, remembered two specific ones that I've experienced, and those were the ones I told her about as a child. Now that I'm older, Zoe. Now that I'm older, and I'm into 5 years of my awakening. I know what time period that is. Zoe, stop. So I know what time period that is. And I know who those people are, and I know who I experienced as, and it's amazing, because I can remember not only what I told my mother when I was a child, but also even now it's more detail and more information, and I'm also being introduced to other lifetimes that I experienced. So yeah, it's amazing. And I'm glad she wrote it down because, that just shows that, children are open anyway, and they're more in touch anyway. And I would tell her these things, and now I understand it as, past lives, basically, that I had. And I think one of the biggest things that was a real flag for my mom was when I was around 4, my brother went to live in France. He was there for a year. And I would get up in the mornings and tell her what my brother was doing, like details, Like I said, this was in the 70s. We didn't have cell phones. It was very expensive to call home. So we might hear from him like every 2 weeks or something. And it wasn't for very long. But I would get up and tell her in the mornings, oh, well, Chuck went here, or he did this, and all the things that he was doing there in France as a missionary. I would tell her these detailed things that he was doing during his day. And then when he would call, what he was telling them matched up to what I had already told him, over the last week or so. And so that kind of, flew up her curiosity there, because there was one instance where I got so upset one morning. I was very upset, very worried, because my brother had to stay in this big house, and he was there for a long time, and the house is pretty, but he didn't want to be there. And, however I described it to her, and that he was upset because he lost his black wallet. And so, of course, by then she's like, oh goodness, what's going on? Because, she couldn't call him. She had to wait for him to call. And so when he called, he did tell her that he had lost his passport, and he had been at the embassy in France for a couple days trying to get it straightened out. But he got it. He was fine. So apparently, I was able to be with him or tap in, into what he was doing in his life in France from here when I was a child. Wish I could still do that. I don't remember how to do that nowadays, but we're getting there. I'm working on those gifts. My gifts are back, pretty much full force, even with more detail. And like I said, my childhood gifts kind of went dormant for a while. Did the whole college thing. I got married. All of that stuff. Started my job. All that. You're the typical, plan or that you're supposed to do, and so, it wasn't until 5 years ago I experienced a really profound spiritual experience, a spiritual event thing, and it's I won't go into details here, but it is in my book that I'm writing. It is in publication right now, so hopefully we'll get that done. But the details of that are in my book that's coming out hopefully, by spring. I was pushing by the end of the year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It might, I don't know. But yeah, the details of that are in there. But about 5 years ago, I joke and say my guides and the Divine Father, said, look, okay, enough is enough. She needs to know what she is and who she is and what's going on here. So, it was like they came in and just flipped the switch on, and it was on full force, and it propelled me to where I am now. So for the past 5 years, I've just been growing and learning and expanding, and it's an amazing journey. It is an amazing journey, and I love it. I love what I'm doing, because I feel like I'm actually doing what I came here to do, So I am an intuitive channel, a medium. I'm able to contact the angelic realm. I have 5 angels that I do work with closely, as well as others, but I have 5 main ones that are the ones that kind of, I work with all the time. And then also with Jesus, with Yeshua, he is very close. So I have the five archangels. Actually, they're seraphim, but most people know them as archangels. So that's how I refer to them, so that everyone is on the same page about who and what is going on. So I have the 5 archangels. My main one is Metatron, and I didn't even know him. I never heard his name, ever. I didn't know who Metatron was until 2 years ago. And that's an amazing story as well. And it goes back to my childhood stories and links everything together. Everything links together. It's amazing. So Metatron, Michael is another one. Michael and I are very close. Of course, Yeshua. Mary Magdalene is another one. I am now not only in contact with my group, with my soul group, being the angelic realm and Jesus and everybody, but I'm also in contact with other councils and other civilizations, other individual beings. I'm an open channel, so I don't have just one or two that I talk to. It seems like it could be a new one anytime. It just they come through, and I've met some amazing beautiful beings, and they're very loving, and you can feel that love from them, and they want to help. They want to know who you are. They want to offer suggestions to you. They want to see us grow. They want that. And I have had just an amazing time, learning and meeting everyone. It's so much fun. It's just a lot of fun. Some of the other ones that I do contact often is the Pleiadian Council. Let's see. It was the Syrians for a long time, and I still hear it from them some. But when I first had my first experience, it was the Syrians, and the Command Center, Galactic Federation. Let's see, who else is another one that Arcturians started coming through about 2 months ago. So I love them. They're just awesome. They all are. But I'm not a trans channel, and how I channel is all intuitive, so I can feel and see and hear. I'm also clairaudient, their message to me, and see clearly, like in my head, like visions of what they're talking about, and then hear. So my clairaudience has really, really taken off here in the last 2 weeks. So it's made another step up, and so I'm very clairaudient, very intuitive. And so that's how I get my messages from them. And a lot of things I had to go and research myself, because the messages that were coming through were things that I was not familiar with at all. Words, phrases, different things. I was not familiar with what they were telling me. So I had to go do my own homework and find out exactly what this word means, or what this phrase means, or, things like that. So, but I don't, like, sometimes I can actually hear, let's just say if it's Jesus, if it's Yeshua, he can come through without me having to translate it. But they do come through. I'm able to, and I don't know how I'm able to do this, but I'm able to tap into and hear clearly frequencies, like different frequencies or tones and sounds. And for the longest time, I could not describe what I was hearing until I heard one day, and it clicked with me. Someone was playing singing bowls, the Tibetan singing bowls. And those frequencies and tones are very, very similar to how I hear them when they come through audibly, clairaudiently. I hear a certain frequency or tone, and then I can translate that tone into language. So, and it's beautiful. And music has always been a thing for me anyway. So, I think that I was born kind of tapped into the frequencies and the music thing, because it's, it seems to be the way that I'm able to really get in touch with and connect, is through that. So that's how that, me personally, that's how I'm able to connect with them. And the story of my first experience of me being able to hear them is in my book as well. And I wasn't trying. I was in my living room drinking my coffee, and all of a sudden, it just happened. So, and I was getting all this information. I was like, what's going on? So it was just, I was well enough along where I wasn't kind of freaked out about it, but it was very bizarre. So, I have journals everywhere of messages from the guides. So it's, yeah. But so I do readings for people if anybody's interested. I've done really well. Most of my clients are around the nation or global. I've had some, from other countries that have contacted me, and everyone seems to be really pleased. And I've gotten really good reviews on my website, so I'm very happy about that. And it's so much fun. I really enjoy it. That's the most important part. And but I do consults. I do 60-minute or 30-minute, and I'll put my website down here in the description so that you can click on it and just kind of go there and see, kind of what my story is and what I do. And if you're interested in setting up a time, my information's there, my contact information, feel free to do that. and you know, yeah, it's a lot of fun. On top of the just the intuitive stuff and the channeling, um, I also am an energy healer, and I'm diving more into that because I love it. I love it. I'm certified Amadeus, and I'm putting together my own modality for energy healing. I do healing circles. I teach meditation, and I love the beginning people, the ones that are just coming into this and just trying to figure out what is going on. You know, I love working with the newbies and other, you know, other ones as well. But the new people I love because I was there one time. That was me at one time that didn't have a clue about what was going on. So I want to be one of those safe landing places for people that have a lot of questions, and um, you know, especially people here geographically in this area that I know where they're coming from, so I can meet them there. You know, from a place of, you know, our deeply rooted, beautiful traditions, and so yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. I will be posting new things on my website. I have a Facebook page as well, a group that I put a lot of my work in there, and you can check that out. I'll put the link here in the description. And yeah, just contact me anytime. We have a great group on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. You can reach me through my website. And I'm hoping that maybe this covered a lot of the questions that people had about, you know, how I found myself in this place doing this work. So it's been an amazing journey. I love what I do. I'm very, very passionate about it, and you know, I feel like I've stepped into my purpose, really. So it's been a lot of fun. Still growing, still learning, and I'm excited about it every day, and that's what counts. You know, that's what matters, because we are all here for this amazing time, and we are stepping into a new age, a new reality, and I feel like many of us came here for this. That's what we, as teachers, as leaders, to move us forward to where we need to be. So yeah, so if you have any questions or want to set up an appointment, or maybe attend one of my classes, you're more than welcome. I'll have my contact information in the description, and yeah, hope to hear from you soon.